There are places in this world where faith does not simply live in the walls. It breathes. It listens. It rises like a quiet flame in the hearts of those who enter. These are the Catholic pilgrimage sites where millions have walked before us, carrying hopes, fears, gratitude, and longing. Many people dream of visiting them, but life does not always allow such journeys. That is why this video exists, to bring these sacred destinations closer to you, to let your heart travel even if your feet cannot. Stay with me until the end, because each site in this list holds a story that can reshape your spirit and awaken something deep inside you. By the time you reach number 1, you may feel that you have taken a pilgrimage of your own. If you love discovering the beauty of our faith, join this journey and watch till the very last second. Every place here carries a message meant for you. Number 10. Fatima. Portugal. Fatima is not a place you simply visit. Fatima is a place that calls you. It lies in a quiet corner of Portugal where, more than a century ago, 3 small shepherd children witnessed something the world could not ignore. The apparitions of Our Lady transformed this peaceful countryside into one of the most powerful centers of Marian devotion. When pilgrims step onto the vast esplanade, the wind seems to carry the echoes of the rosaries prayed here for generations. People walk silently, some barefoot, some with candles, others holding photographs of loved ones. What moves the heart is not the size of the sanctuary, but the atmosphere of surrender. The Chapel of the Apparitions stands on the very spot where Mary appeared, a reminder that heaven sometimes chooses the simplest places to speak the loudest truths. Inside the Basilica, light filters through tall windows with a gentleness that mirrors Mary's own presence. Pilgrims kneel before her statue, whispering prayers for peace, healing, and strength. Fatima is not about grand architecture. It is about conversion. It is about the quiet courage to turn back to God. Many people leave Fatima feeling lighter, as though the burden they carried has been quietly shared by a mother who listens without judgment. Number 9. Knock. Ireland. Knock is a place of silence, and not the empty kind. It is a silence full of meaning, where the presence of God feels near enough to touch. In 1879, villagers saw a vision on the gable wall of their parish church. Mary, St. Joseph, St. John the Evangelist, and the Lamb of God upon the altar. There were no words, no message, only a silent revelation that would forever mark this humble Irish village. When pilgrims arrive at Knock, you often say the same thing. The place feels gentle. Even before entering the shrine, the quiet air seems to wrap around them. The apparition chapel stands where the vision occurred, and its smooth gray stones look almost like they are still holding the memory of that night. Inside, people light candles for families spread across oceans. They pray for children wandering far from the faith. They ask for mercy in moments of fear. Knock is not a place that overwhelms. It is a place that restores, a place where silence becomes prayer, and prayer becomes peace. Number 8. Divine Mercy Shrine, Krakow. Poland, there are sanctuaries built from stone, and there are sanctuaries built from the tears and prayers of souls seeking mercy. The Divine Mercy Shrine in Krakow belongs to the second kind. It rose from the life of a humble Polish nun whose visions of Christ would one day spread across the world. When pilgrims walk into the basilica, they often stand still for a moment as though their heart recognizes something before their mind does. The image of the Divine Mercy Jesus with rays of red and pale light streaming from his heart hangs above the altar like a promise. Jesus, I trust in you is not only a prayer here. It becomes a way of surrendering every fear, every guilt. Every wound. Nearby lies the convent chapel where St. Faustina prayed, wrote her diary, and received the messages that continued to bring hope to millions. Pilgrims enter quietly, sitting before the tabernacle where she once knelt. Many people describe feeling a deep softness here, a sense that mercy is not an idea, but a living force. The Divine Mercy Shrine transforms the soul slowly, reminding each visitor that God's love is greater than our darkest moments. Number 7. San Giovanni Rotondo, Italy. Shrine of Padre Pio. San Giovanni Rotondo sits on the rugged Gargano Mountains, yet its heart beats with the tenderness of one man who carried the wounds of Christ for more than 50 years. Padre Pio's shrine is one of the most visited pilgrimage destinations in the world because his life touched millions. Not just through miracles, but through compassion. Pilgrims enter the modern basilica with a sense of awe. The silence inside feels heavy, as though the walls themselves have absorbed the tears and hopes of generations. Beneath the church lies Padre Pio's body, resting in a glass tomb with a surprising serenity. People approach with trembling hands, some crying openly, others standing still, unable to speak. But the shrine is not defined only by the tomb. It includes the old church where Padre Pio heard countless confessions, and the hospital he founded, one of the largest centers of healing in Italy. This place teaches something rare in our fast world. Suffering is not the end, and wounds are not failures. In San Giovanni Rotondo, pilgrims often rediscover hope, not because their struggles disappear, but because they learn they are no longer carrying them alone. Number 6. Assisi, Italy. Basilica of St. Francis, Assisi, is not just a town. It is a breath of peace. It rests along the soft Umbrian hills like a prayer made of stone. Here, St. Francis heard the voice of God calling him to rebuild the church, not with power or knowledge, but with radical simplicity, humility, and love. Walking the narrow alleys of Assisi feels like walking into the heart of the gospel. The basilica itself has 2 levels. The upper church filled with bright frescoes that soar like praise, and the lower church dimly lit, close to the earth. Where the saint rests in quietness, pilgrims often say the silence in Assisi is unlike any other silence. It is not empty, it is expectant, as though the whole town is listening to whispers of grace. People come here to find direction, to find peace, to remember the beauty of living simply. Francis's message remains alive in every corner. Joy found in littleness. Freedom found in letting go. Assisi changes people not with miracles, but with gentleness. It invites them to breathe again. Number 5. Santiago de Compostela. Spain, there are pilgrimages made by buses and planes, and then there are pilgrimages made by feet. Santiago de Compostela is the destination of the famous Camino, a journey walked by millions across centuries. The path itself becomes part of the transformation. But even those who arrive without, walking the Camino feel something when they reach the cathedral where St. James the Apostle is believed to rest. The vast square outside the basilica seems to pulse with stories, footsteps from every continent, prayers spoken in every language. Inside, the cathedral carries the weight of centuries. Pilgrims embrace the statue of St. James, climb the narrow stairs, and kneel before the silver urn that holds his relics. The air feels thick with gratitude, exhaustion, and renewal. Santiago teaches a simple truth. The journey changes us more than the destination. And yet the destination reminds us why the journey mattered. Number 4, Guadalupe, Mexico, is not only the heart of Mexican Catholicism, it is one of the most powerful centers of Marian devotion in the world. Millions come each year to stand before the image of Our Lady that appeared on the tilma of St. Juan Diego, an image that continues to puzzle scientists and inspire miracles. The basilica is vast, yet the moment pilgrims see the tilma moving gently along the conveyor, everything becomes still. Tears fall. Knees weaken. Hearts soften. Mary's face is gentle, maternal, filled with a compassion that feels almost personal. Outside, music, flowers, and families create a living celebration. But inside the shrine, the atmosphere becomes intimate. People visit the hill where Mary spoke to Juan Diego, the Chapel of the Roses. And the quiet corners where generations have prayed for strength, Guadalupe is where faith becomes a family reunion. A place where Mary's embrace feels wide enough to hold an entire continent. Number 3. Lourdes, France. Lourdes is a place where suffering and hope meet in ways that words cannot capture. In 1858, the Virgin Mary appeared to a young girl named Bernadette, revealing a spring whose waters would become a source of healing for millions. Pilgrims walk through the sanctuary with candles, prayers, and silent dreams. Some come in wheelchairs. Some come carrying years of hidden pain. Others come simply to thank God for healing that has already happened in their hearts. At the grotto, water trickles down the dark rock, and people touch it gently, as though touching a promise. The baths nearby, where pilgrims immerse themselves in cold spring water, become moments of surrender. Not everyone walks away physically healed, but many describe a peace. Deeper than health itself, a peace that settles in the soul like still water. Lourdes is not about miracles alone. It is about compassion. It is about learning that even in suffering, God remains near. Number 2, Basilica of St. Peter. Vatican City. There are places where history becomes a living presence. St. Peter's Basilica is one of them. It rises over the tomb of a fisherman who became the first pope, a man who knew fear and failure but found strength and grace. When pilgrims step into St. Peter's Square at dawn, the silence feels ancient, as if it remembers every prayer ever spoken here. Bernini's colonnades stretch like open arms. The dome of Michelangelo towers, like the sky bending toward earth inside. The basilica reveals its greatness slowly. The Pieta glows with quiet sorrow and tenderness. The bronze canopy above the altar rises like a tree of faith. Light moves across marble floors, like a living blessing. Pilgrims descend beneath the basilica to the tomb of St. Peter. The air changes there. It becomes still, almost reverent, as if the ground itself knows what rests within it. St. Peter's is not just a church. It is the heartbeat of Catholicism. Number 1, Holy Land, Israel, Jerusalem, Bethlehem, Nazareth. If every pilgrimage site in the world is a chapter, the Holy Land is the entire story. It is where the Word became flesh. It is where the Son of God walked, taught, suffered, died, and rose again. It is where salvation stepped into human history, in Jerusalem. Pilgrims walk the Via Dolorosa, touching the stones where Jesus carried the cross. They kneel at the Church of the Holy Sepulchre, where Golgotha and the empty tomb stand only steps apart. Many describe feeling overwhelmed, as though time itself collapses, in Bethlehem. They enter the cave where Christ was born, touching the silver star marking the place where heaven entered earth in the form of a child, in Nazareth. They stand where Mary said her yes, where the quiet walls still echo the moment when eternity became a tiny heartbeat. The Holy Land is where Scripture becomes sight, sound, and breath. No one leaves unchanged. If these sacred places touched your heart, imagine how much deeper the journey becomes when you learn their stories, feel their atmosphere, and allow their grace to enter your life. Faith is not about distance. It is about desire. If you want more videos like this, make sure you subscribe. Share this with someone who needs it. And tell me in the comments which pilgrimage site you want to visit someday. Your journey begins right here.